Hello, everybody. This is Dave Stevens, and thank you for joining me. This is Dave Stevens Speaks, and you've got it right here on riverwestradio.com 104.1. I am your host, Dave Stevens, and we are going to have some fun tonight. We're going to rock and roll a little bit from the home studios here in Manchester, Connecticut. Of course, we feed it through Milwaukee, of course, and thank you to our listeners out there. Thank you also to the Disability Channel folks out there, of course, following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all those good places where you can find the Disability Channel. And, hey, thanks for joining me tonight. It's going to be a great show. I might as well bring my guest in right now. Now, this guy, he doesn't need an introduction, but for you folks that aren't sports fans, I'll have to give you a bit of an introduction. So joining me is a legend that I got a chance to work with for over 20 years at ESPN. He was there for, I think, 27 years. Just a magical run for him, kind of a dream come true. His story, where he originated, of course, you know, his name is Howie Schwab. He's Stump the Schwab for those folks that were big fans of the trivia game back in the 90s and early 2000s. Howie took on a lot of people across the country on the networks on all kinds of different topics in sports. You name it, Howie knew it. And so without further ado, Howie Schwab. Hey, bud, thanks for joining me today on Dave Stevens Speaks.
Great to be with you, Dave. I'm very happy to be with you. You and I have known each other a long time. That's correct. And you're one of the most inspirational people I've ever worked with in all my years at ESPN. And great to be with you, and hope you're staying safe. Hope you're doing well. And crazy time these days, but got to enjoy life.
Well, hey, you know, you've enjoyed a great life, and again, thank you for those warm words. I mean, we had a great friendship, and to just watch the evolution of Stump the Schwab. But like, I'm getting ahead of the story because obviously you started out as this kid at St. John's. I think you went to your college. Was it St. John's?
And then St. John's in New York. Very proud alum, Red Storm. Back then it was the Redmen, but they changed it. But that's fine. And very proud of what I accomplished at St. John's. Very proud of my alma mater, and had a great 4 years, and moved on, and have been working in the sports media field now for 40 years. Pretty amazing. I can't believe it's that long.
Well, it's been great. And, you know, you obviously got to that point after you were the editor-in-chief at the College and Pro Football News Weekly. And you did that successfully. You helped start a lot of careers. But 1987, ESPN, did they come calling? I mean, how did you end up at the worldwide leader in sports?
Well, I was very lucky. Right place, right time kind of thing, because one of the writers at the newspaper was a guy named Frank Ross. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. But Frank had connections with ESPN, Terry Lingner, and what happened was Frank said he suggested I go meet with them to see if I can get a research position. They didn't have a research department back then, but they wanted to do more with College Game Day. Larry Burnett was hosting back then, and I went up there, interviewed. They liked me, and within a month they gave me a job, and that changed my life, because ESPN was a dream place for me. Working in sports is something ideal for me, because I've been a sports fan for forever. I went to my first Major League Baseball game at age 4. I remember it like it was yesterday. Mets Cubs and Mets Dodgers within a span of 2 or 3 weeks. And it was great. And so working in the sports field, amazing, especially a place like that where you covered all the sports and you worked with so many great people. People are what made ESPN great.
And we had both a lot of good memories of our time at ESPN, and we'll talk about some of the dark times, but we also want to talk about the celebration. That's why you're here, and that magic thing that sort of happened to you. Was it organic? I mean, they just don't give middle-aged guys like us a TV show suddenly. So what's the origin of Stump the Schwab? How did it come about, and how did you start to ride that out as far as that dream?
Well, it's funny because I worked at ESPN running research and doing a lot of different things, helping a lot of different people out. One day I get a phone call from Mark Shapiro, the vice president at the time of ESPN, and he's gone on to many big things. Mark says, do you know why you're here? I said, no, not really. He goes, we're going to start a new TV show. It's called Stump the Schwab. You're going to be playing against people. Everyone thinks you're the most knowledgeable guy in the building. I'm like, well, that's very nice. I said, okay, if I win, I win. I lose, and I'm going to just have fun with this. Went down to New York about a month later, met with Michael Davies, who did Millionaire, Tiffany Trigg, who was the executive producer of Stump the Schwab, and had a great time with talking with them. And sure enough, then we started. Back in 2004, we did 20 shows, 15 shows, 20 shows, 30. Bottom line is, at the end of 4 seasons, we did a total of 80 shows. I went 64-16, which I'm very proud of. Yes, I did lose. A lot of people said you never lost. A lot of people said, oh, they're giving you the questions. No, they're not. Believe me, when it comes to doing a game show, they are so careful about everything. They had lawyers there. They had a security guard watching the room. It was wild, but it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Met a lot of good people, worked with a lot of great people, and had a super, super time.
Well, you talked about being on that game show, and I know the host of that show was Stuart Scott, big time, great guy at ESPN, and you got to work real closely with him, especially, suddenly you're on TV, and I'm sure there were some times you wanted to have advice, but what was Stuart like on that show? And talk a little bit about that relationship.
Well, Stuart was so much fun to work with. We just had a great time. We just enjoyed everything. There were times we had to come in early. They did rehearsal to test camera angles and lights and things like that. And that was fun. And I mean, I remember one time, this was unbelievable. They talked about me doing a gymnastic thing, but of course they had a stunt double. Stuart laughed about it and said, oh yeah. And all of a sudden he starts doing flips. It was incredible.
He did his own stuff?
Well, just there in rehearsal.
Wow.
It was the whole place broke down. Everyone was laughing. He was such a fun guy, and what was really nice, he brought his 2 daughters in a lot to hang out and watch the shows, and I got to see his daughters grow up before my eyes, and they're 2 beautiful, beautiful ladies. And Stuart was just a great guy, fun to work with. We just had a good time. I mean, I remember times where, and Stuart would say, try League, not American League. I remember that one time, the question was, name the Cy Young winners from the American League. I forgot who the guy answered, but Stuart said, try National League. It was so casual the way he did it, too. It was very funny, but Stuart was a great guy to work with. I miss him. I think about him all the time, and he was so important in the battle against cancer near the end of his life, and he worked so hard with the V Foundation. V Foundation is so special. They're trying so hard, and we really have to eradicate this disease.
Well, that's why, it's so near and dear to us, because we were involved, like you were personally involved. Again, another great relationship that you had with Dick Vitale, who was very close to Jim Valvano. And you were together in those times when he was battling that cancer. And you must have, what you witnessed at those ESPYs, I mean, is something probably most people never saw.
Well, working with Jimmy, I remember near the end, he came into the studio and he could barely walk. And we rode up an elevator together, and he said things are tough, and he was very candid about things, and it was very tough to watch, because Jimmy V and I had a great relationship because he was from Long Island. I was from Baldwin, he was from Seaford. Jimmy V's dad taught the referee class on Long Island which I took, and I became a high school referee. Jimmy coached Iona. I went to St. John's, and I remember the Iona St. John's rivalry when Jeff Ruland was there and things like that. And so it was a rivalry. We talked about it, and actually Jimmy got married at Carl Hoppel's, which was a place in Baldwin, which has been torn down for about 35 years, 40 years. But I mean, there was a lot in common, and Jimmy was just an inspirational guy. He always said, just have fun in life and make sure you're enjoying yourself. And he was a very positive guy. And Jimmy and Dickie V had such a great relationship. And Dick did so much for the V Foundation and was there for Jimmy at the end, and it was so tough. But like I said, that speech is one of the most incredible speeches I've ever heard by anybody. Jimmy V's speech is just amazing and inspirational as well. And you think about it, and it's just incredible.
It really was, and it's helped so many lives just because of what's happened and the fundraising and everything that, if you'd like to get more information, you can go to v.org. It's that easy. I think it's the shortest website in the entire world. It's v.org, and you can donate and or take a look at that and do it. It's just amazing what the V Foundation does to raise awareness and cancer. So if you want more information, it's available at v.org. We're going to continue with Howie in just a second. I got to do some homework here and just give a couple of shout outs. You're watching and listening to River West 101.4, riverwestradio.com. I'm Dave Stevens. You're watching and listening to Dave Stevens Speaks. We have this every Thursday where we talk to some amazing people. We talk to people about overcoming adversity. They don't have to be stars, but they are great people. And I appreciate you guys listening and watching and sharing and continuing. And we also have, our friends, Anna Marie Bliven, who has got Onward and Upward and prosperitypathways.com. If you want information about online jobs or trying to figure out a new career, she can help you with that. And of course, Marcus Hart, my DJ, you can go to media at transformu.us. He's helping people. He's got some great programming on the Ability MKE Now network. And of course, you want to help support all of the platforms that we have on Ability MKE Now, WXRW 104.1. And of course, we got the Ability Fest coming up October 26th to November 1st. So make sure that you get ready for that. I am Dave Stevens, your host. And again, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all those fun locations out there. But I got to bring in my guest back in, Howie Schwab. And Howie, we were talking a little bit about Dickie V. And, that's probably the most Batman and Robin-ish relationship I think that we had at ESPN, because you really enhanced each other. How did that get where you got this grumpy loud guy that's always screaming, "It's awesome, baby"? I mean, that relationship is so funny to me, and I'm just curious, how did it start, and how was it proceeded all these years?
Well, I started working with Dickie V in the studio around the NCAA tournament back in around 1988, 89. And we had a good rapport. I mean, I was happy to help him, and he was always very kind to me. And it's developed into a great relationship because I'm friendly with the family. I've stayed at his house numerous times. I've worked at his house during the NCAA tournament. For years, I went to the Final Four with him, and though that changed now, and that's fine. I mean, Dick is just a great guy to work with. He works very hard. He asks a lot of good questions. And he's really, I use the word inspirational. He is such a family man. His wife is an angel. His kids, Sherry and Terry, are wonderful. They're married to two great guys, Chris Sforzo, who's a doctor, and Thomas Krug, who's a judge. Dick has 5 grandchildren who are wonderful. 2 of them are going to be playing tennis at Duke this year. One is playing tennis at Notre Dame, a female, Sydney. And great family, great person. And Dick works so hard on so many things. We worked on a book together, Dick Weiss, Dick Vitale, and I, called The Lost Season. People can get it by going to dickvitale.com. And also, Dick has worked so hard on the V Foundation. His gala's coming up, and he's raising a lot of money. And uh, I've gone to his gala, I think, 13 or 14 times. And it's amazing because you see these kids who've battled cancer and survived, and their stories are just absolutely amazing. And I've gotten to know several of the kids, and it's really heartwarming. And I love being involved with that. I love what Dick does. He works so hard. 24/7 he works. He
Yeah.
literally will call people all hours. He'll get calls back all hours of the day. He is so driven by this. I'd say almost obsessed by the way he wants to raise money for cancer research. And he does just a great job with that. And I love the relationship with Dick Evie. He's just been a wonderful friend over the years to both my first wife and my son and me, and he's just been wonderful to work with. So it helps. Believe me, it helps.
Now, Howie, you talked about your first wife, and again, we're going to talk about some tough things here, coming up here in the next half hour. You know, I witnessed it a lot. The struggles that you had, if you'd like to explain it to our listeners out there, you had
Sure.
to deal with something, not only your job, but your wife had to deal with something it's a very tough personal struggle.
Yeah, it's reality. I mean, I have no problem talking about it because it's something that happened and it's realistic. I mean, it happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. My wife suffered a couple of strokes. Uh, she had a disease called CADASIL, very rare disease affecting blood vessels in the brain. Uh, at one point, we thought she wasn't going to make it. The doctor even said, she's not getting out of the hospital alive. I said, I'll take that bet. And she lived 9 more years. So, fortunately, we had a lot of good times. We were married 24 years. Unfortunately, 11 of them we dealt with the disease. She was paralyzed, left side, and she was in a wheelchair, and we had to re-accessorize the house and get a wheelchair accessible van and get live-in aids. And for a while, I was working weekends on the road, and the live-in aides would be there taking care of her. And it was not easy. It was not inexpensive by any stretch, and you just do what you have to do to take care of your wife and take care of your family and do your job. So, unfortunately, uh, this was a little traumatic because when ESPN let me go, my wife was not doing that well. And the good news is I got the last year and a half with her while I was not working anymore for ESPN. So we had some great times. We went out to dinners in the van. We did things. We tried our best, and unfortunately, it's strange. I worked for Sports Jeopardy, and I flew out to LA, came back on a Monday. On that Wednesday, she wasn't feeling well. And it's funny, that Thursday, I was supposed to go to the U.S. Open tennis tournament. I had tickets. My parents were going to go. Friends of mine were going to go. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go. She passed away Wednesday night, Thursday morning, August 28th, 2014. But I'm proud that I did the best I could, and she had as good a life as she could. And she had a great life before the illness. She was a teacher in Hartford, Connecticut, gave it her all for almost 20 years for a lot of kids who needed the help. And I was very proud of her, and I still remember her every day. And but life goes on, and I've been very blessed to have a second chance. And Jody was great, though. And well, you got to see some of it. Some people at ESPN got to see some of it. Once in a while, I brought her in when she was in the wheelchair, just to say hi to some people. She was friendly with the likes of the Barry Saxes, the Mike McQuaids, a lot of people. And like I said earlier, people are what made ESPN great. People had work ethic. People had desire to do great things. people always went out and didn't care how long it took, didn't care if they had to work extra hours. They wanted to put a great product on the air. And I felt for 26 years we did just that. And we did a lot of different things, a lot of innovative things. The bottom line, for example, you get a lot of good information there. The talent, making sure they had good information and different information. So I was very proud of the 26 years I was there. We did a lot of different things. ESPN The Weekend was fantastic. I loved doing that. I loved working on the ESPYs. A lot of great things, a lot of great memories. I know at times people have thought that I bashed ESPN. What happened was after I got let go, I did put up a message that I was disappointed that I was let go. I want to make sure people know out there I did not do anything wrong. There were people at ESPN accused of sexual harassment and other things, and I had no part in that. And I wanted to just make sure other people, if they were looking to hire me, knew what was going on. Well, I know for a fact there were some people higher up at ESPN who were very upset I posted that. Meanwhile, I talked to PR and made sure it was okay, that they weren't going to be upset. And they said, fine. But hey, you know what? What goes around comes around. And in life, I've been lucky enough and blessed to have a second chance. I've had other things happen in my career that are fine. And I'm blessed to live in Florida. I'm blessed to have a wonderful second wife. And life is good. You've got to enjoy life every day. Happiness is the most important thing, not money. Money helps. You want to pay your bills, but if you're happy, that's half the battle when you wake up in the morning.
Dave Stevens here on riverwestradio.com, WXRW 104.1. You've got the Dave Stevens Speak Show. We've had some tremendous guests, but Howie, I just love being able to talk to you tonight. Stump the Schwab was such a legendary thing, but, when you left, you had to battle. You had to go through some things with ESPN that you can maybe talk a little bit about or touch on.
Yep.
With Stump the Schwab, something you created, yet you may not be able to have it anymore.
Well, it was created by both ESPN and me, but realistically, what happened was near the end of my time at ESPN, I got a phone call from the legal department threatening me. I was doing a Stump the Schwab type thing for ESPNU Unite, where I actually had to spend extra time doing it, not getting paid for doing it. But it was fine. I was happy to do it. I wanted to try to help Unite and some of the people involved with that. What happened was we had to do the shows at night. I worked during the day. I come back and do it at night. The questions. They didn't have anyone to get the guests. I got the guests and made sure Skype was set up. So I did all this work, and then I get a phone call. We need you to sign this paperwork giving ESPN the total rights to Stump the Schwab. You can never do anything related to Stump the Schwab ever again. I'm like, what? Then they also threatened something else, not to pay my vacation time that was owed when I got let go. And I had to get a lawyer and spend $4,000 to fight part of that. So that's why I'm a little disappointed by some of the things ESPN did. A lot of it's not public, but I'm honest. What happened was kind of sad. I gave 26 years of my life. I think I did a pretty good job over the years. I worked as hard as I could. I tried to work well with others. I did a lot of charity work at ESPN. I was on the board of directors of Connecticut Make-A-Wish. I did stuff for a number of different charities. Whenever ESPN asked me to do something, I did it. The last year of ESPN The Weekend, they asked me to do 18 shows in 3 days. And they said, we know it's absurd. I said, hey, that's what you need. That's what I'll do. I win, I lose, I lose. I'm just going to have fun. I'll meet with fans. I'll do whatever. Well, that was pretty taxing for 3 days, but I did it. What was my reward? I got let go. So It's okay.
That
Because
day, though,
I said, what happened then, and then they called me after and said, "Oh, you're going to get a job right away." I said, "No, I'm not, because I can't leave Connecticut. I have my wife in a wheelchair and in a hospital bed at home. I can't just, where am I going to go? I can't just do that. I can't just sell my house." As it turned out, when I moved down here to Florida, selling my house, I got clobbered. But I had to do it, otherwise I would have been paying insurance and electricity and this and that. And so I took a hit, so be it. But bottom line is, happiness is the most important thing. And after a few years, I worked a little bit in LA, and I ended up meeting the girl of my dreams. I live in Florida now. I'm very happy, and life is good. And I suggest people try to stay as positive as you can. I mean, this pandemic has been very difficult. It's very challenging. I don't understand why people walk around without a mask. It's not that hard. I wear a mask all the time. But hey, bottom line, try to have fun in life. You never know when it's going to end. So just live one day at a time.
Howie Schwab, my guest on Dave Stevens Speaks right here on riverwestradio.com, WXRW 104.1. We're going to continue. As you know, we will stay on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all of the channels and everything that we have with the disability channel and everything. And Howie, it's been great to have you tonight, and we're going to carry over to the next hour. But I'm wondering, where did this desire to become a statistician start?
Oh, very young, very young. 4, 5, 6. I was a big sports fan. Like I said, my first baseball game was age 4. I was always into sports. People in elementary school through high school said, "Oh, you love sports. Oh my God, you're definitely gonna work in sports." I said, "I hope so." I always loved sports. It's a passion. I mean, I love all sports. I love tennis. I love boxing. I love football, baseball, hockey, soccer. You name it. Baseball, whatever I forgot to say, football. I mean,
favorite team or just everything?
Well, I have favorite teams.
Besides the Yankees, fan. I know.
I'm a giant fan of football, a Yankee and Padre fan in baseball. You may remember me getting on the loudspeaker at ESPN. These are the Padres in June, saying things like that and having fun. NBA, I'm not really any team fan, though I'm rooting for Miami and Boston in this playoff. I love Brad Stevens, and I like Spoelstra. Brad Stevens I've met a number of times when he was at Butler.
Those Stevens guys are pretty good.
Yeah, Stevens is a good name. I know you like that, huh? Just a feeling. Hockey, I'm a Ranger fan. I used to be an Islander fan. But after the Islanders won 4 cups, the fans seemed spoiled, so I went back to rooting for the Rangers. So I'm a Ranger fan in that.
Howie, before we jump over at the end of the
soccer,
hour,
I'm a Chelsea fan.
Where can before we jump over on the other side, where can people follow you on Twitter and find you real quick?
At Howie Schwab, HOWIESCHWAB. Also coming shortly, I'm going to be doing trivia on an app called WinQuick, WINQUIK. I'm very excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. People can win money by just answering 10 questions. I'm writing all of my sports questions, so I'm writing some tough ones and some easy ones, and
cool.
We're going to have a great time.
All right. Well, thank you, Howie, for being a part of the first part of this hour. Thanks for joining me. We'll continue the second part of this half hour. Of course, don't forget, every single week, Thursday night, Dave Stevens Speaks right here on River West Radio 104.1. And, of course, you can find us on the Disability Channel and the Ability MKE Now networks all over the platform. So thank you for joining me this week. Join me every single week. And, hey, don't forget to follow me, Dave Stevens Speaks, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all those good things. So until next week, folks, thank you for joining us. Thank you for following us. And make sure you go out and be nice to somebody this weekend. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody. I so like my theme song. I think I got to get
Right.
I got to get that thing promoted and going. And so, here we are. Dave Stevens Speaks on the riverwestradio.com 104.1. Don't forget, Anna Marie Bliven can help you with job opportunities at the prosperitypathways.com. And you can also find her on Onward and Upward. And don't forget, Marcus Hart has got the Transform You Media Network. Log on to his site. He's got some great stuff, and he's got great shows to help you on the River West Radio Network and, of course, Ability MKE Network. So I want to get back to my guest because, hey, this is the reason we're here tonight. And, of course, Howie is back with us. And, Howie, you chose the Tim Tebow jersey tonight. Now that people can see you, what's the story behind that 15?
Well, Tim Tebow played in the national championship game, and I was able to get one of the jerseys. And Tim Tebow was a great guy, too, because at ESPN The Weekend one year, he was down there and he was doing charity work. He had a family with him, and we got to spend time, and it was just wonderful. He's a great, great human being. And let me talk about human beings for a second, because you just said something very nice. Be nice, everybody. I don't understand why everyone's a human being, whether you're white, black, red, yellow, green, whatever. Okay? You have your religious beliefs respected. You have your beliefs in politics respected, whatever. But the bottom line is this. We need to be a better country right now, and we're not. Right now, there's so many negative things. My wife one day went out for a walk. I had bought her some college sports shirts. She wore a Clemson shirt out here in Florida. And she went out with my cousin, and she came back. She goes, I cannot believe what happened. I said, what's wrong? I'm wearing the Clemson shirt, and some guy almost spit at me and yelled, oh, bleep them, bleep them. I'm like, what? I said, it's a good thing I wasn't there. I might have lost it. But, I mean, for what? Because she's wearing a Clemson shirt? Be respectful, people. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you hear stories. I mean, the violence now in the country. I mean, this latest thing with Rochester, New York, and oh man, I mean, you get sick when you see some of these stories. The abuse, someone firing a gun for no reason. I mean, it's tough. We're in a tough time right now. But like I said, happiness is important. Dave, you're inspirational. I loved what you said. Be nice. Be nice to someone. Respect someone. If someone's walking across the street, help them. If someone's in a supermarket and they need help them. Just be there for each other. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's how I feel about life. And I guess I'm going in a little different direction than I think we planned, but that's okay.
That's all right. No, I mean, this, you and I, we can complain about what's going on, but we have our health. But however, our sanity, especially for sports, has got to have been crazy for you to not be able to either watch sports or have sports come back in a different way that we're used to. Is it as legit as it's supposed to be? Is the baseball season legit? All these things. I mean, for you as a fan, this has to be really tough times for you.
Well, it was tough because remember when this stopped? College basketball tournament. St. John's was playing Creighton. They played the first half, then they stopped, and that was that. All the other conference tournaments went bye-bye, or at least the major ones. Talking Big Ten, ACC, SEC, etc. And then the NCAA tournament went bye-bye, men's and women's. And then we knew, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. The only good thing was after that, Vital, Hoops Weiss, and I started working on this book. And so that took away a lot of things and was distracting in a certain way and was fun to work on. Then as we stretched it a little longer, it was tough. You tried to find things to keep you busy. One of the things I did was Netflix. Oh my, I can't believe how many things I watched. One weekend, we watched 30 episodes of Ozark in 4 days. I
I
mean,
did
you
the
talk about
same
binge
thing.
watching, but it was great. It was great. We loved it, and I'm excited. Ozark's coming back. They're shooting in November, and later this year or early next year, we'll see some more Ozark. That'll be great. We watched movies. We watched a lot of things. To the swimming pool a little bit, but they closed that down here in our condo. And you just try to find things to do and just have fun. But I mean, like my wife and I watch Young and the Restless. There's a secret. People don't realize that, but we love Young and the Restless. Well, all of a sudden, they were not having new shows. So we stopped watching for a while. We watched a few of the old ones, but not many. Now it's back on. Great. And I think across America, things are getting back to normal a little bit. The restaurants here in Florida, for example, different events. But I mean, I don't know the next time I'm going to see a live sporting event. I don't know the next time I'm going to go to a concert. I used to go to concerts all the time. Back in March, I went to 2 concerts, right as this was starting up.
Mm.
March 8th was the last concert I saw. I saw Patrick McEnroe's wife performed in a concert down here in Fort Lauderdale. She was great. And Melissa Errico, by the way. And, you know, what you want in life is normalcy. I mean, you want to have experiences. You want to be able to do things. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, I think you have to be very careful. I just chuckle at people say it's a hoax and this and that. 180 plus thousand people have died in America, people. That's not a hoax. I'm sorry. It's that simple. And it's not that hard to wear a mask. It's not that hard to social distance. Unfortunately, there are people on weekends down here who go to the beach and don't social distance. Not even close. You see like 20 or 30 people in chairs together, and you say, how are we going to stop this? And then you hear reports on the news, we're going to hit 200,000 people soon. People, take it seriously. I can't believe this. But personally, I'm being very careful. I'm an at-risk person. And
Well, for the first time in my 25 years, I'm actually happy to be in Connecticut because we have one of the most buttoned-up states.
Yep.
And we're, you know, not that I like Connecticut, but that's a whole different show. But my guest Howie Schwab, Stump the Schwab, joining me, and Howie, I could put you on the spot here and throw a little trivia at like who was the original Jill Abbott, or who was Catherine Chancellor's first husband, or what was the name of David Hasselhoff's character?
Oh my God,
Brock. You know, so you know, we could go head to head on a little Y&R trivia if you wanted to.
Well, you're going really way back. I mean,
my mom used to set me on a couch in I think
so many
1973.
times. Come on, Abbott's been married so
And
long.
Jeannie Cooper just
Yeah,
passed.
Jean Cooper died. Yeah, she was great
Yeah.
as Catherine Chancellor. And Christophe St. John, that was terrible when he passed. But you know what? It's a great show. The new Adam Newman is great. Jack Abbott is great. Victor Newman is great. I mean, there's so many good characters, and the storylines are interesting. And today's storyline was, I'm not going to give it away, but
I got Tracy Bregman following me on Instagram, and we talk. So I've got Lauren Fenmore, like, you know, I got
there
that.
You go.
So yeah, so sorry people out there, they're used to sports stuff from us, but Howie Schwab,
more life than sports. I'm 70s and 80s music. I'm pretty good, so it's all good.
So, you know, the excitement of your future, and now we can talk a lot more about it, is this app that you've been working on. Win Quick. Tell us about it and what's going on with it, and how can people compete against you or find you or do this thing that you've got going in the works.
Sure. Well, first of all, I got a phone call back in March, right around the time the tournament broke down. A guy I went to high school with named Lenny Tucker, Baldwin High School in Long Island. He was on the basketball team. Decent guard. Anyway, bottom line, Lenny called me and said, would you be interested in being involved in this? And I said, sure, why not? The negotiations didn't take very long, and I signed up. I said, I'll write questions. I'm ready whenever we get going. And sure enough, we're finally at the point where technology is in place. and we're very close to launching later this month. I'm not sure of the exact date yet because we're still ironing a few things out, but the way you play is very simple. You sign up at WinQuick, WINQUIK.com, and when we start, it's going to be available on iOS and Android, and also through the website. And what it is very simple. We do a show every night, different topics: sports trivia, the Bible, outer space. It's being done by Josh Dobbs, the NFL quarterback who played at U of Tennessee. Brian Baldinger, the former NFL player who works for NFL Network. He's doing sports movies. Jordan Andino, a very good young chef, is doing food trivia. It's just going to be a lot of fun, different things. Yeah, I'm doing sports trivia. There's a shock. But 10 questions, get them all right, and then it goes to the tiebreak of time. If you do it accurately and quickly, you can win money, and there is good money involved, and we have sponsors involved and advertising we're working on, and it's going to be great. And the people who have been working on this have been fun to work with. We have meetings every week, and I'm excited. It's really been fun to be involved. The person who's been producing some of these shows, we taped a few to see how it goes. And it's been great. I'm really enjoying it, and supplements the income too, so why not? WinQuick.com.
All right.
And
awesome.
it'll be fun. I mean, a lot of people love Stump the Schwab and love the show and love playing, so come on board. Let's do it again. We're going to have some good times.
Now, Howie, as you've kind of gotten away from the ESPN world, I've observed it, and I feel sad as I watch more and more of the elegant journalists like Bob Lee and Chris Berman kind of get phased out and moved out. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts watching like the old guard change to a guard that I don't think anybody's paying attention to or cares about anymore?
Well, I think they care a little bit, but it's different. It's definitely different when you have people like John Clayton gone, and you have people like you mentioned Berman and Bob Lee. The shows are different, and they're trying to do highlights, but a lot of people these days get their highlights online. There are different ways to get their news quickly, and so they're trying to do some features. They're trying to do some things. I respect ESPN. I do watch. I watched a lot of tennis today, the U.S. Open. And they miss guys like Stuart Scott too. They miss a Robin Roberts. There's a lot of people. It's changed, but they have some young talented people, and they're okay. You've got to remember the subject. The subject matter is sports. When Tom Brady signed with the Bucks, they had stuff to talk about. When a fight breaks out in a baseball game, they have stuff to talk about. The NBA playoffs, they have stuff to talk about. That helps a lot. During that pandemic, when they didn't have stuff to talk about, it was challenging, and they cut back some of the shows, and it was a challenge. But ESPN will live forever. Fox Sports will live forever. The more the merrier. I think that having a chance to watch different sports on different networks is great. The better off you are having a shot to watch U.S. Open tennis or the hockey players or whatever.
Well, Howie, I want to throw back to your early start because you were the internet in those days. You were Wikipedia. You were everything because the anchors needed to turn to you in a pinch live and say, I need this, or what do you got for me? I mean, how did those things develop as far as your turnaround, the accuracy? Because it's important to be accurate. You can't screw up numbers. You can't make up facts. So what was that transition like for you in your journey?
Major challenge before the internet. Very different world. Now with the internet, you can get stats pretty easily. A lot of times we kept box scores on paper in files and then went back. It was challenging, no question about it. But we had a good time doing it. We got to use our heads and think about things and be creative. And The graphics, I think, help the shows. You're saying who, what, when, where, why, and you're trying to give information. I think we were very helpful in that. And I think people respected and liked us for that. But it was definitely not easy. I mean, uh, back, back. Thanks, Boomer. It was, we had to go through football stats, college football. A lot of times SIDs would send us info when we asked them to. There was a thing called fax back, which is gone. That helped a little bit, but once the internet broke out, it got easier for sure. And I feel that ESPN right now does not run the same amount of graphics they used to run. They rely on their bottom line for a little bit of the stats, and that's okay, whatever they want. I had fun doing stats. I had fun doing the did you knows. I had fun being creative, and the people appreciated it. I felt, except for the end, but the end was interesting. But that's okay.
Well, you've moved on to bigger and better things. You've proved there is life after ESPN.
Yep.
I gotta ask, do you have like a really good go-to Boomer, Chris Berman story of something that you worked with, or because he relied on you quite heavily for the Swami?
Well, Boomer relied on me with the NFL draft, and I helped in one way. I suggested Russell Baxter get hired, and Russell was great for Boomer. Russell was a great guy, and he got screwed over too. But bottom line is, Boomer has always been wonderful as well. Boomer and Vitale are the two most special people from ESPN. I still keep in touch. Uh, Boomer I love because between the nicknames and the Bills circling the wagons and everything, Boomer's what sports should be about. He was about fun. And to me, you got to have fun when you're involved in sports. It's not brain surgery, and you just have to enjoy it. I love watching any game. I'll put on a college baseball game when they're playing. I'll put on a softball game. I'll put on tennis. I watched a lot today. Whatever it is, you just try to enjoy it because sports give you a storyline. Sports gives you the drama of a result, especially a close game. You have an extra inning baseball game or a Stanley Cup playoff game that goes overtime. I mean, it's wonderful. You just have a great time watching it. And to me, it's important to have fun in life, like I've said. So sports for me it's a passion. And when I'm done here, I'll put on a baseball game or some tennis, Serena playing, or maybe some hockey, and I'll just enjoy the rest of the night. All good.
All right, I'm going to try to stump you with the only really obscure trivia question that I know.
Oh,
Here we go. For 10 points, can you name the last American League switch hitter to win the Most Valuable Player award?
it's funny you asked that because I do know the answer because
Oh,
it's such a crazy question. It's Vida Blue. He was a
yes!
pitcher.
You're the first person ever to answer that question. I had that as a little kid. I called into a radio talk show once and I stumped them. And ever since then, no one has ever gotten that question. It's so weird because that was the one year Vida Blue was experimenting. He was a
Yep.
horrible hitter, but he was trying to experiment as a switch hitter in 1973. And you just proved, Howie Schwab, you can't be stumped, my friend.
Believe me, I can be stumped. It's been a while, but no, you know what? I'm human. I remember one time at Madison Square Garden, a fan came up to me and said, "I could stump you. Who was the?" I don't remember the exact question, but it was really bizarre. It was a junior college player who made it in the NFL, and I was so tied up in basketball, I didn't get it. He goes, "People won't believe I stumped you." I said, "Here, give me your ticket stub." I wrote on the back, "Yes, he stumped me, stumped the Schwab," and I signed it. So he has it. Whatever. It's okay. I'm human. I admit I don't get every question right. I lost 16 times. That's fine. Only once was I really pissed off after I lost. because the guy was a bit of a pain, but that's okay. Uh,
Six.
64 and 16, yeah, 80%.
Yeah, I got it right there. I do my homework here, and
There you
I mean,
go.
it was great to work with you, and just to, you're just a down to earth guy, and that's what was great to watch
Yeah,
you. All of us guys that are couch potatoes, and you kind of ascended to this. What we would all wish we could do is to be able to be on TV and talk sports and have some beers and have a good time, because that's what makes sports good. It's that camaraderie, that friendship, that
exactly.
rivalry that it builds, that I don't think we have. If we had more of that in America right now, maybe things wouldn't be so bad. It's not the explanation, but it's a way to help heal.
Well, I think people have to appreciate each other. And I also think, we're all on the same team, really. You think about it. We're all Americans. I mean, to me, ESPN was great because we're all on the same team. Very few people were out for themselves. Most people worked together. Most people cared about each other. I mean, I know when people have passed away, unfortunately, going to a couple of funerals, you see the passion and the love and the way people cared for each other. I think about John Saunders. I think about Stuart Scott. It's wow. What can I say? I mean, and these people have their legacies because they did so much great stuff. I mean, John Saunders and I, it's funny because Saunders was a Georgetown guy. I was a St. John's guy. So one time we made a bet, but we didn't keep it, obviously. If I won, John Saunders had to name his next kid Chris Mullen Schwab. He already had two daughters, who are great, by the way. And if I lost, my kid would have to be named Patrick Ewing Schwab. Chris Mullen Saunders versus Patrick Ewing Schwab. That'd be a good one-on-one.
That's great. Well, Howie, I want to thank you for being a part of this show. It was a very magical night, kind of going through memory lane, and congratulations on you're still. I
Yeah.
still think of you as a newlywed and your beautiful wife, Susie, and you're stuck inside, but it can't be that bad if you got a beautiful woman that you can have a friendship and fun with, right?
A wonderful woman. She's a caring, loving, amazing person. And I'm so blessed. We've been married 3 years, and she's just wonderful. She's just a wonderful, amazing, caring human being. And I couldn't be any happier. I'm just lucky. I got a second chance in life in terms of love, and very, very blessed indeed. Believe me, I appreciate everything she does for me, and hopefully she appreciates the fact that I love her so much. And we just try to enjoy life every day, and that's so important. And
Wow.
happiness means so much. And Dave, I just want to say, like I said earlier, you're an inspirational person. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great. You're a great guy, and I'm so happy that you're in there. And
Well, thank you. How it's great to catch up, and I'm sure there's a lot of ESPN old timers watching, and everybody on all the pages who said to say love you. Dick Vitale gave you a huge shout out. Chris Berman said to say hi. So you were
great.
so loved by all of us old timers up here. So
Well, I appreciate all of them. I appreciate the people there. There's so many people I still talk to, and I care about, and I just want everyone to be as happy as they can be and just enjoy life. That's simple.
all right, my guest tonight, Howie Schwab. That's right, the legendary Stump the Schwab, who got stumped himself because he didn't realize he could find such a beautiful, happy second chance in life with Susie, your wife. So
Hey,
you got
I
stumped, right?
was lucky, Dave. I got to tell the story. I was working on Sports Jeopardy in L.A., which was a lot of fun working with Dan Patrick and the people at Jeopardy, who are great people, hardworking and really knowledgeable, great stuff. And a friend of mine named Maribel Majorga was a roommate of Susie Davy. And Maribel said to me, Susie would like to go out to dinner one night. I said, sure. We went to dinner at the Culver Hotel in Culver City, California. We sat there for 3 hours talking. It was wonderful. Susie said, I'd love to get together before you leave at the end of the week. I did. Then I came back out to Westlake Village, California for 4 days of vacation with her. and that was the start of it. And I've been so lucky. She's wonderful. She's caring. She's sweet. She's just amazing woman. I'm lucky.
Well, you got to be lucky. Got to be lucky in life,
and photogenic too.
Yeah. See? So I hope you continued success. Good luck with Win Quick with a K, not CK. Yep. Win Quick. And the book, how can they get your book? You and Dickie V's book.
It's called The Lost Season. Dick is selling it with the proceeds going to the V Foundation. It's at Dick Vitale, DickVitale.com. He'll personalize an autograph for you, which in itself is worth more than anything, I think. Oh. But the book is good, and I think we have fun.
We forgot to say also, Howie can be found on Cameo. So if you've got some things that you want to have your friends say or try to beat them a trivia question or just make fun of your team, where can they find you on Cameo?
Sure enough, Cameo and Howie Schwab. So I'm on there, and I have a lot of fun doing that. People have been great with that. Some people have asked me to bury their fantasy football teammates. Some people have asked for trivia. It's been a lot of fun. So, yes, thank you for mentioning that. I love doing Cameo. And reasonably priced, too. So, yay.
All right. Howie Schwab, Stump the Schwab, legendary guy, great guy, does a lot of charity work. The V Foundation, also the Dick Vitale Gala is tomorrow night. Go to v.org if you want more information about that, how to donate. It's such a great cause. A lot of people in our life have been touched and we've lost them, but we've also had champions like Shelley Smith and Paula Stuckert and people like that have come out on top. So Howie, thank you for joining us.
Holly Rowe.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So thanks for joining me tonight. This is Dave Stevens. Of course, Dave Stevens Speaks every Thursday night right here on all of the cross platforms that we got here on Dave Stevens Speaks. And, of course, the Disability Channel. And anywhere that you want to find me, I'm all over the place. Don't forget, Thursday nights right here, riverwestradio.com, Ability MKE Now. I'm Dave Stevens. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Until next week, America, I love you. Be nice to people, just like Howie said. We'll see you next week.